Fursonas are one of the most crucial things that make the furry fandom, well, the furry fandom. We furries make characters that represent ourselves and serve as our face within the fandom. However, fursonas aren't the only characters we make. Almost every furry also has other OCs that we draw, but aren't our fursonas. But a lot of us have multiple fursonas too. So then, what separates the two? Hey every furry, I'm Childrakina, and today we'll tackle a question that many furries, myself included, have pondered over the years. What's the difference between a fursona and an OC? Some furries, like myself, only have one fursona, and this can be for a number of reasons. For myself personally, I only have one fursona because my fursona is literally me, and there's only one me. I want my fursona to be the sole face of my content, and they're like the mouthpiece to the furry fandom. And because I feel like they're a literal reflection of me, I personally feel uncomfortable making another fursona. Some people feel similarly. Most furries, however, have multiple fursonas. And as somebody who can't/won't make another fursona, this made me wonder, what's the difference between a fursona and just another character? Well, I've thought about it, and thought about it, and thought about it, and here's my thoughts. First, we'll need to examine what a fursona actually is. And this is complicated. Why is it complicated, you ask? Because what a fursona is a bit different for every furry. But this is the exact reason why people have multiple fursonas. A fursona, for every furry, is a way to express yourself. Some furries have multiple fursonas because they really connect to multiple designs and decide to use these multiple designs to express different aspects of themselves. Each fursona has a different set of traits from their owner, and while I find myself unable to do that, it presents a unique way for someone to get in touch with specific parts of themselves. However, fursonas don't have to be true to your personality. Sometimes, furries have multiple fursonas to represent exaggerated parts of themselves, or versions of themselves they wish they were. This way of expressing who you want to be, even if it doesn't exactly line up with your actual personality, is actually a really important aspect of having a fursona. In fact, because fursonas aren't always exact copies of their owners, many furries make true sonas to reflect themselves exactly. Okay, so we have fursonas that are literally their owners, and fursonas that aren't. So, what makes those fursonas that aren't any different from an original character? Well, an OC is just that, an original character. And while all fursonas are OCs, not all OCs are fursonas. You see, many times OCs are part of a story. Sometimes those stories are told through comics, animations, written works, or sometimes just art. And oftentimes, those OCs can be entirely different from your own personality. After all, many OCs are villains, anti-heroes, or antagonists to move the story along. And most furries don't have personas that are just straight up villains. But even aside from that, all stories need OCs that aren't the same as the creator. In fact, part of the fun of making OCs is making OCs that are unlike you. But not all OCs have stories. Plenty of furries have OCs just to draw them because they like their designs. So, if an OC doesn't have a story to them to make them different, then what separates them from a fursona, you might ask? Well, all in all, I think that the answer to how fursonas differ from OCs is representation. A fursona represents you, or a significant part of you, where an OC doesn't necessarily. And while all our OCs have a part of us with them, whether it be personality, goals, or backstory, not all OCs are meant to represent you or be you. A fursona is like your mascot, your character that when other furries see, they think, oh, that's so and so. They're your avatar, so to speak. And even if you have multiple, this applies to all of them. Fursonas are a way to represent yourself to others. In a way, fursonas are you in the public furry space. They're your identity. So, next time you're thinking, Is this a fursona, or is this just another OC? Think identity, representation. Does this character represent you somehow, or do you just really like to draw them? And don't get me wrong, it can be both, and it can change over time. You might have an OC that you realize, this character really, really represents me. I really connect to them, and you make them a fursona. Or you might have a fursona that you realize, I'm not really connecting to them anymore. They aren't really my identity anymore, and you might demote them to just an OC. All in all, it just depends on how you feel about this character you've made. Well, what do you guys think? I'd love to hear more thoughts. Tell me if you agree or if you have another take on a fursona versus an OC in the comments. And make sure to like and subscribe for more furry content from me. Stay furry, friends.